Hello and welcome back to The Stage Door, presented by Camber Arts right here in Cornerbrook, Newfoundland, Labrador on Rogers TV. We're so excited to have some episodes featuring our summer arts. There's so much going on in the summer, and while we don't film through the summer, we're really fortunate to have some time in June to catch up with the artists that are working with our summer festivals right here in Western Newfoundland. So through the summer, you're going to see episodes highlighting Stephenville Theatre Festival, Theatre Newfoundland Labrador, Camber Arts, and Newfound Family Drama Company, which is so exciting that we have those options right here in Western Newfoundland, not too far to have to travel to see some excellent theatre. This week, I'm here with some folks from Camber Arts, so it's great to have our own work to be able to celebrate and share. And I will say too, Lauren is actually doing double duty this summer, as she often does, with Newfound Family as well as Camber Arts. So welcome to the show, folks. Really great to have you. So I'm here with Kate, Lauren, and Meaghan, all of whom are involved in different capacities through our season. As we often do with this show, we'll start by talking about the artist before we talk about the project that is happening right now. So Kate, we'll start with you. And what we often start with on this show is a question of where did it all start for you? So what was the beginning of your artistic journey?
Right. So I think I attribute it to two sort of things that are both very entwined with Cornerbrook, for sure. The first being the March Hare Festival that my grandfather, Rex Brown, was involved with. So getting to grow up alongside poets and storytellers and bohemians of all sorts, you could say, definitely had a big impression. The other was off-Broadway players. And I can remember when I saw their production of Little Shop of Horrors, and it just changed my life. And since that day, I've been big musical theater junkie, you could say. So,
Absolutely. I think the power and impact that community theater has is something we often end up talking about on this show because it is so vibrant in this community. You know, there is so much opportunity for people to get involved and for people to see that and celebrate it. And I think that's a really important factor. Is like, sure, this is a professional season, but what inspires us is the opportunities that we get early on, which are often someone coming into our school or having those events that you're just intertwined with the community that you're like, yeah, I went to that and then I loved it. So, you know, hopefully that's the same for our viewership. Go to something. You might love it. It might change your life. Who knows? Yeah. Lauren, what about you? Where did it all start for you?
It's a really good question. I was always a creative person. I was always like, I was that little kid who'd put on like a weird costume and force everyone to just watch me do stuff in the living room when I was really, really little. But I didn't do like any theater for a long time, for most of my life. But I did dance a lot. I did a lot of dance classes. I was on a competitive team. And that's when I really started to realize I loved the stage. I loved it so much. I wanted to do all these things. So eventually when I was graduating high school and I was figuring out what I wanted to do, I couldn't see myself doing anything other than the theater program here at Grenfell, so that's kind of where it started. I got some help, I got in without any prior experience, and then I just haven't stopped since.
Yeah. It's great story, you know, to be able to do that and carry it forward. And Meaghan, you've been on the show this season, so we won't quite ask the same question, but particularly this summer, you are writing and directing our interactive train show. So what do you feel were the steps? How did it begin with an interest in writing and directing, that side of things?
Well, I did some like competitive improv in high school, but more so in recent years through university. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. And then either as a player or as the person like creating the world and running the game and stuff. And then the past few years having helped work on the train show as a performer and as a stage manager. And as that show has been growing and developing and we've been figuring out what's possible, my brain just went, oh, it's just a big old D&D game on a train. And then that just clicked a thing into my brain. And as I've been doing more games and writing more, and in my master's degree, I did some playwriting courses and different things like that. The interest of that kind of cross-section of theater making and interactivity and the way that it connects to, like, we in the past years have had both seniors and children as invested in the show and the game of the show, and that just is really interesting and inspiring to me. And so when the opportunity came up this year to like kind of take the reins on the train show, I was very excited to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that makes Camber Arts unique is myself and the other co-artistic director, David Meggs, are working on a lot of things rooted in multi-platform arts making, so that a project doesn't only happen on the stage. You know, we are in an era of Netflix. We're in an era of all these services that are brought to your home that cost a lot when you look at it. You know, if you have 5 of them, you're spending a shocking amount a month on arts consumption in that way, to have the power of choice, to have the power of seeing something and doing it when the opportunity lines up. The train show, we've done a number of murder mysteries: Blood on the Newfie Bullet, Death Rides the Rails. This year's Beneath the Baggage is a real case of that, because it is a gamified experience. It is a video game that's live action. You're getting to explore, you're getting to root through, you're choosing your own adventure in a way, and you're trying to solve this mystery. So it's certainly been a fun vessel into that experiment, and seeing that as we try to look at other shows, you know, site-specific work, using alternate spaces, and really trying to, particularly through the summer, do things that tell a story in a different way than through the year, where most of our programming is our musical theater focus, with our community musical at the Arts and Culture Centre, and our Graham Academy shows at the Gary Graham Theatre at the ACC as well. So it's a great opportunity to see something a little bit different with a great cast of local folks. Before we dive further into that, Kate, we'll talk a little bit to you about your recent experience. You completed a program in musical theatre here in Canada, and then took that across the pond and did a master's program, which led to you developing and sharing here in Corner Brook, as well as in the UK, a one-woman show. So what was that process like? What were some of the discoveries that you really feel helped shape you, and what made it feel like the right time to come back home for a summer?
Yeah, so I think this past year, where I've been focusing on acting, I've really definitely been pushed to think of myself and my role in theater in a very different way. Where when you're doing musical theater, it's really easy to like say you're a dancer and that's your one thing. But I've definitely been writer, self-directing, like taking all these different things and exploring these different avenues. And I've been really missing Newfoundland. I've been in England for the past 2 years, coming back for Christmas, but I just think there's something so special about the community, and I feel really lucky to be able to sort of bring these new skills and experiences and share that with people here. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, we're certainly very thankful at Camber Arts that you're doing that, and not only in being involved with a couple of the shows, but also leading some of our youth camp programs. So it's really exciting to have that. And Lauren, we'll go down to you with a little question of what is it like? You know, you again have chosen Corner Brook as a spot to station yourself for the past little while. Mm-hmm. Have worked with a couple companies here, including Camber Arts. What's it like in the summer when you're doing this double duty that you've been able to do for a couple of years with Newfound and Camber Arts?
The first summer I thought it would be overwhelming, but it's not. I mean, Camber has been like very flexible with that, and like you don't want to, like the community here, it's not competitive in that way. Like you try to work together and make sure that things aren't overlapping. It made me feel really like extremely involved with the community to do multiple things at once. It felt more immersive. It kept my brain active. It kept me active. It kept me engaged. It's always been very fun. Mm-hmm. Just very fun to not have to be as fun as Newfound is. Of course, it's fun to also have those breaks where I can do something else in between, and not just keep going with the one show. It's nice to have a little something sprinkled in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we dive into Camber's season, What's Newfound presenting this year? It's a great new country music focused show, which has had a consistent audience through the years now.
Yeah.
This one's celebrating Reba, which is very
Reba
exciting.
time.
So what's it been like to dive into that music? Is that a catalog you knew, or is it pretty new to you as you're diving into a lot of songs, from my understanding and talking to Sarah?
Yes. I know it is unfamiliar to me. My first season with them in 2021, I did do some Reba. That was a tribute to women of country, so Dolly, Loretta Lynn, Reba, obviously. And then this year, she decided to focus directly on Reba because she had 25-ish number one hits over her career, and that's out of 126 singles. So she had a lot of material there. It's been very fun. It is a lot for, I'm not a country person, but I'm listening to Reba, and I feel like I should be now because I get it. I always respected her, obviously, as what she is, but it's been nice to just. It feels almost educational, kind of, to listen to old country in that way, and understand why she is the queen of country.
Absolutely.
And it's been very fun. She's got a lot of ballads, a lot of great vocals, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, excellent. And that show plays through the summer. What
does.
days of the week is that show happening?
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
There you go. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, consistent schedule at the Elks Lodge. Tickets are available online. You do have to buy in advance because it's a dinner theater. You know, yeah, they don't want to cook.
Food.
They don't want to waste some food, and there's great food. So make sure you book your tickets if that sounds like something that you would be interested in. Little piece of trivia is, you are a musical theater person that has went country with this show, but Reba did South Pacific, and it's actually a very good production that got filmed. She's excellent in it. So if anyone's dabbling in both worlds, check it out. I think it's probably on YouTube, but it was quite an impressive pass there. So we'll move into talking about Camber Arts this season now. And this year, Camber is doing something a little bit different. We are doing a repertory season. So we have 3 productions that are playing 12 times each throughout the summer, starting on July 7th. So it's a great opportunity to be able to really schedule your summer. You have 12 opportunities to see these shows, but do book in advance, because what tends to happen is the last shows we're turning people away. So really look at your summer and try to get those booked in, even though there's a lot of opportunity, including this season. So we have an original folk musical written by myself and Bridget Swift with dramaturgy by David Maggs. That is every Monday and Tuesday starting on July 7th. On every Wednesday and Thursday, there's Echoes from the Outports. That is a celebration of Newfoundland Labrador music. And that takes it through the years. It's set in kind of a kitchen party setting. Barley Leg is at Blow Me Down Ski Lodge, so it's a beautiful rustic lodge. And Echoes from the Outports is at our space at 110 Humber Road, which is the former convent. So again, very much a historic setting that you're able to walk into and share this timeless music, but also look at what happens if we do music from this time in that setting, and how does it feel? The themes have continued through the years, I think, in this marvelous, terrible, wonderful place that we've chosen to call home. There's still a lot of those same themes of struggling and living with the struggle and loving it all the same. And then, of course, every Friday and Saturday, we have our train show, Beneath the Baggage. Brand new show, brand new experience this year. That one's a little earlier than the others. That one is at 6 o'clock. The others are at 7:30, but we need daylight when we're wandering on a train. We don't want anyone to fall, and we are looking for evidence, so it's hard to read as August comes around. You see, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Get the phone flashlight out. So that's always a great experience, and you do want to get your tickets in advance for that, because that does tend to fill up, and the train's only going to fit so many people. All of these venues are intimate, they're cozy, they're wonderful. So check it out. The tickets are available online. You could call the box office. Box office is open 11:30 to 2:30. You could also leave a message. You could also drop into the building at 110 Humber Road and we'll make sure to get you sorted out in those hours, 11:30 to 2:30, Monday through Friday. So Kate, you are coming on as a director for Barley Leg and the Logger's Dream. This is a show that we've dabbled with in the past, first with a young company and then doing a slightly expanded version. We're now expanding it to be something that has more length, a lot of new music by Bridget Swift, who you've collaborated with in the past. What has it been like to step into that? I know at this point in June, we're just starting, so the show is going to come to life for us here, but we'll talk about it knowing that it's running by the time some of you see this interview.
Right. So I've really been enjoying digging into this story and this script. And, well, first of all, Bridget's music is hauntingly beautiful, or wants you to get up on your feet. She's an incredible songwriter, and
Yeah.
I have no doubt that everyone will bring the music to life beautifully. But there's a lot in this story, sort of picking it apart, and definitely the themes of where you want your life to go and how things are going and the uncertainty of it all. Like, it definitely rings true.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making it sound a little heavy now,
I know,
but I mean, if you're interested in that sort of aspect, that's there. And if you're interested in just a great night, that's definitely there too.
No, it's definitely a story and song, a little bit fantastical, a lot real at the same time. And it's also the 100th anniversary of Corner Brook Pulp and Paper. Actually, July 7th is almost to the day. Supposedly, 100 years since the first roll of paper was made at the Corner Brook Pulp and Paper. So it's going to be, I think, a wonderful story. The music is great. I mean, Bridget is just wonderful, and we're so fortunate that she's continued the journey with this piece. We have Kev Hamilton, Jennifer Billard, two incredible musicians in our community, along with some young artists, Kira Clark and Ewan Jenkins, who are part of this. So it's going to be a really wonderful story told in Blow Me Down in a fairly immersive setup, I think. And I'm excited to see what you bring to it, as you know, with Kira as choreographer and you as someone who's had such experience in movement to kind of work to tell that story of the ghosts of one's past and how we can finally rise to overcome them, in spite of what went wrong. Look at what went right, I think, is perhaps the uplifting part of this. We'll move on down and talk a little bit about our interactive train show. So, Meaghan, we'll start with you. You've been involved, like you said, but what's different without giving too much away? What's new and exciting about this one?
That's what's always the struggle trying to.
The whole point is the mystery.
Yeah,
so we really can't say.
mystery.
Well, the difference is it ends like this.
Here's the plot twist. No.
There's a twist.
What? Last year we started. We integrated a few more like puzzle elements. There's always been a kind of like search and find element with the evidence, but we had a much larger cast several years ago. But as we've kind of figured out the different shape, we wanted to find different ways to activate the space. So we're continuing with that kind of new discovery of puzzles. And so it's not just finding evidence in the luggage, it's finding hints and clues to solve a lock, to open a thing, to lead you on another journey. We have some new and returning faces to the train show this year. So we've got Lauren and Joanne Martin, who have both done the train show for several years now. This is your third train show, and I think Joanne's third as well. And then we also have Colwyn Paris and Kira Clark, who were both in the train show last year. And Kira was actually in the very, very first iteration of the train show when it was a full youth cast, when the initial Blood on the Newfie Bullet script was developed. So it's been really great having her come back last year and this year. And then we also have Jamie Merrigan joining our cast for the first time this year. So it's a really great combination of new and returning faces. And the trade show is fun because you can really shape the characters to the people you have. So this year is called Beneath the Baggage. The train switchover is halted when a mysterious bag is found that brings to life a cold case, old mystery that begins to unravel amongst our various cast of characters.
Yeah, so it's certainly a bit of a different story in the telling of it. The train is not come to a halt with a sudden murder, but instead we're actually working to solve a cold case that seems to have affected how things are running down there. So, Lauren, we'll move to you. And what are the unique, I don't want to say challenges, but what are the unique things that come with doing a show that is this immersive and this interactive? I know Jamie actually has had a lot of experience with escape rooms in Ontario, so is coming and bringing a lot of those skills, because it's similar to that as well, except that it has live performers. So there's so much that the audience can do. They are very much a character of this story. Having written a couple myself, that's part of the process. It's like they are very much in the story, in character. You don't know what that character is going to do. So what has that been like to step into that?
Fascinating. It was a little bit daunting, my first season. It's not as much now, but I think that's what keeps the show really fun, is it can be so different every single night. I've had shows where I am being absolutely grilled by audience members.
Yeah.
They're asking questions, and I have to stay in character, which can actually be really, really difficult in that kind of slightly intimidating scenario. I find not in a awful way, obviously, but and then sometimes people are very focused on the physical hints, and they don't engage as much with the actors, and sometimes it's a bit of both. The biggest challenge is, I think, just getting through the train. It's not very wide.
There's some narrow hallways.
Yeah.
The train is by its nature our least accessible venue, and that's the challenge of doing shows there is due to when this train was made. It's quite an old engine that we have in Corner Brook, and the hallways tell that much because they're about as wide as me. So the hallway is 1 me wide. And then you have 2 people going through at the same time in opposite directions. So that leads to more stories to tell, but it is so special to bring that historic venue to life again. And Kate, as we wrap up the episode, we haven't talked a lot about echoes, and admittedly, at this point in June, we haven't come together in a room, but what would you say, especially being someone who has went away and is coming back, what is special about the music of Newfoundland and Labrador?
I think one reason it's so special is all Newfoundlanders know the music.
Yeah.
Being in England, and I mean the Irish are a bit more into their music, but it doesn't have that same oh yes, I know that one, everyone sing along. And it's just, it really does speak to all aspects of being a Newfoundlander. We're so lucky that there have been so many incredible songwriters throughout our history, as well as folk songs, and one for all occasions, all feelings. It's just a beautiful thing.
No, I think that is, and that's what this show, I think, we've done a number of celebrations of Newfoundland Labrador music, and that has went from the very traditional music to music that came out through the issues that we've had, like the Cod Moratorium, that inspired music. Resettlement, that inspired music. Al Pittman's wonderful music, which again connects through the March Hare. I'm sure we'll have something of Al's in this year. We haven't went without him yet, so I think it'll be there, especially this year. But also looking at how faith has intersected with Newfoundland Labrador, and we featured music in French and the Mi'kmaq language, because those are languages of this place as well, and bringing those cultures into the tapestry that we're fortunate to be a part of is I think really important in how we tell this story, and bringing those perspectives together. In that kitchen party setting, I think we'll have a warmth that's going to be quite special to see. So Camber Arts season runs through the summer, starting July 7th, ending in mid-August. 6 days a week. We're going Monday through Saturday. Monday and Tuesday is Barley Leg at Blow Me Down. Wednesday and Thursday is Echoes from the Outports at 110 Humber Road. And Friday and Saturday, you're going to be able to catch Beneath the Baggage at the historic train site. Tickets are available in advance. The information is going to be on the screen with how to get them online, or calling the box office, or drop down to 110 Humber Road between 11:30 and 2:30 on weekdays. And of course, Newfound Family Drama has some great shows Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, going through the music of Reba. That's going to be a great time too. Tickets do have to be purchased in advance, and their website and phone number will be on the screen as well. Thanks so much, folks, for coming to the stage door and chatting with us, and we hope that we'll see you folks in the audience at our stage door at some point this summer. A big thank you to our gold sponsor, Harbour Financial. We are so thankful that corporate sponsors help us deliver this type of work in Corner Brook. And for the folks watching at home, don't forget, there is so much happening in Western Newfoundland this summer. There's Camber Arts right here in Corner Brook, along with the Newfound Family Drama Company. In addition to that, go up to Cowhead. There's the Grossmorn Theatre Festival with Theatre Newfoundland Labrador. And there's the Stephenville Theatre Festival in Stephenville. There is truly something for everyone. We hope you find the time to make it to all 4 of those things throughout the summer. Lots of shows happening, and their information's coming up on the screen now with how you can get tickets online, call the box office, drop in, however you can. We'd love to be able to see you at some point this summer, and I know those folks would as well. Thanks for tuning in at the stage door, and I hope to see you soon.